I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. President Trump is back in the U.S. after having, quote, good talks, unquote, with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky in Rome yesterday, while both attended the funeral of Pope Francis.
The initial assessment from both sides of the roughly 15-minute meeting is that the conversations were positive. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying, in part, hoping for results on everything we covered, protecting lives of our people, full and unconditional ceasefire, reliable and lasting peace that will prevent another war from breaking out. Very symbolic meeting that has potential to become historic if we achieve joint results. He goes on to thank the president, a shift in tone after their argument at the Oval Office in February. But in a new Truth Social post, President Trump questions Russian President Vladimir Putin's commitment to end the war, pointing to his attacks on civilian areas over the last few days.
And that is Fox's Madeline Rivera in D.C. Thousands now waiting in line to visit the tomb of Pope Francis.
Pope Francis is at rest in a simple grave inside the basilica closest to his heart. The long lines outside St. Mary Major consist of mourners, young and old, devout Catholics and curious tourists, many using umbrellas against the warm Italian sun. Inside, they'll find a marble tomb below a crucifix illuminated by a single spotlight. A white rose lies by the engraving Franciscus. We're roughly 4 miles from the Vatican, where every pope for the last 100 years has been laid to rest. In Rome, Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
A huge explosion and fire rocking a big port in southern Iran Saturday. At least 25 people killed, another 800-plus injured. State media blaming hazardous chemicals stored at the site, including missile fuel. Officials not calling it an attack, but they do say security is on high alert. America is listening to Fox News.
From around the world,
Trey Yingst, joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel.
To Washington.
I'm Mike Emanuel.
To your own backyard. If the story impacts you or your wallet, we're on it. It's the Fox News Rundown. We give every story the deeper look it deserves with must-listen interviews and smart analysis from the voices you can trust. Start your day with the Fox News Rundown. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What will be in your forecast? You've got sunny skies and 57 degrees in downtown Indy, high of 68 today. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 11:03. Well, that may be storms, yet temperatures will remain warm. The work week will start off pretty well, though, and Monday will face
temperatures near 80 with plenty of sun.
But Tuesday is when it's supposed to start getting pretty gloomy, says Andrew White with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
We get the first storms moving in, most likely during the late morning to early afternoon hours, and that's just kind of the start of a pretty active pattern as we get through the week. We've got good chances for rain just about every day up through Friday.
White says things will start to wind down a little bit by the end of the week across the state. 2 women were honored by state police this weekend. John Herrick explains why.
Back on October 10th of last year, investigators say Siri Sahu and Tana McKinley saw a vehicle that overturned and landed on its passenger side on I-65 in White County. They ran up to it and found that an elderly man was trapped inside it. Eventually, they pulled him out of the rear driver's side window right before the vehicle burst into flames. He came away uninjured, and so did both women. Both Sahu and McKinley were granted the life-saving award certificate for their heroic conduct. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Riley Leonard, who used to be the Notre Dame quarterback, was selected by the Indianapolis Colts in the 6th round of the NFL Draft for 2025. Now here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies become mostly sunny. High temperatures in the upper 60s tonight. Mostly clear skies remain in place. Low temperatures near 50 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Spring is here, and Damon's is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Damon's friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Damon's South on Emerson Avenue and Damon's West on Rockville Road.
Damon's Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden center.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. Good morning to you, and welcome to the first day on 93 WIBC, April 27th. I'm Terri Stacy along with Denny Smith.
Good morning, and don't forget that cute little girl at the board.
Yes,
Am I allowed to call you cute?
Well, I am cute.
Yeah. She scores. Kielynn May Tally.
And smart.
And smart.
She's all the things, and she has been a great help to me this morning. Boy, have I had computer problems, so she's been right there helping me all along the way. It is a perfect spring day on tap for this beautiful Sunday. Plenty of sunshine, highs reaching in the upper 60s. And it's going to be just a gorgeous day, whatever you might be doing. We might have some severe thunderstorms kind of moving in, but not until Tuesday. But we'll keep watching that for you, too. Pope laid to rest yesterday, Pope Francis. I am not Catholic, but I still can appreciate and love the outpouring that you saw yesterday, the colors of the cardinals, and it's striking, right, Denny? I mean, that's a great word to use. It was striking, the colors, and then of course all of the pomp and circumstance and all that goes with that, and I'm fascinated with it.
Now they're getting down to work. Now they got to find us a new papa.
Yeah, they sure do. But I saw this story yesterday. Listen, by the way, all of those people that were taking selfies by the casket, not cool at all.
Now wait a minute. I have been to funerals. I've done funerals, and you'd be surprised how many people take pictures of the body in the casket and the picture of themselves by them. And even here in Indiana, I don't know some tradition.
I don't know.
It's a southern thing for sure.
I don't know, and I don't know what the rules are. But I thought I saw some rules that was not cool.
What you're saying is you wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I think it's tacky.
Yeah, but
the first thing that made me think of was when the people were taking pictures by the Holocaust railroads and being all
same thing.
You walk
There's
the
sacred
line,
areas,
but
right?
don't,
There's that you just don't. But this is kind of interesting, and I know that we got to keep this break short. But Pope Francis was a soccer fan during his time at the Vatican, and some in his home country of Argentina think that the Pope made a set piece out of his passing, meaning that he was given, he was a card-carrying supporter of the club in his home in Buenos Aires. He was a card-carrying member. The number on his card, 88235, 88235. And the numbers coincided with the age of the Pope at his death, 88, the time of his death,
oh my gosh,
which the Vatican said was 7:35 or 2:35 a.m. local time in Buenos Aires.
Oh my gosh.
And the fans of the Pope and soccer called out this connection on social media. They were the ones that spotted it and thought, well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Wow.
So he died at 88 years old at 2:35 a.m. and was a member of this soccer team by his number, which was 888235.
I feel like that's as cool as angel numbers.
I guess
that's pretty perfect.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, you and the angel
really
numbers,
amazing.
you got me started on that, Kielynn. I'm just beginning to be a believer.
Yeah,
I'll take the lucky.
Yeah.
And the films Conclave and Angels and Demons are just up at the top of the list of everybody's watching right now, movies that kind of have to do with the Pope. One of them I have not seen, which I really want to see, is a movie called The Two Popes, which actually features Pope Francis as one of the main characters. And that one is also at the top of the list right now as more people are watching. There's been this surge of popularity in these films. Me too. I'm watching them too. Donald Trump, of course, there. Melania was there. Biden's there. Lots of dignitaries. But Trump's 100th day is coming up this week in office. 100th day is Tuesday. Doesn't it feel like it's been a lot longer? I mean, for good or bad reasons, but it just feels like, is it only 100 days?
Yeah, the first 30 days were pretty monumental. The 100 days went quick.
For sure. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up, very special conversation we're going to have. It is the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon coming up this week. And I talked to a Vietnam veteran that has some memories to share with you. And very interesting conversation. It's 11:10. Glad you're here with us. First day, 93 WIBC.
Hi. Would you put me in my place? No one's ever loved me real enough to say it right to my face. I'm so thankful.
Well, April 30th marks the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon in 1975, which ended the Vietnam War, and the nation is commemorating this event by honoring Vietnam veterans and their families. And joining us now is Don Eggspueller, a Marine combat pilot who served in Vietnam. And Don, thank you so much, first and foremost, for your service and for spending some time with us today. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me, Terry.
Don is the author of Letters to Mom. And Don, you remind us that the United States has been involved in some kind of global conflict for most of our years as a country, which means we have had thousands of veterans who served a long way from home and suffered when they came back. And you tell us that you were one of them. You served from 1969 to 1973. How old were you when you were drafted?
Well, I was graduating from college, so I was just, around 22 and got into an officer program. And I had my pilot's license back in college, so I at least got to get into a flight program in the Marine Corps. I really didn't think that I would have to go because the war had been going on for 10 years, and we had worried about the draft ever since I was in high school and all through college. And even when I got drafted and I went into flight school, I thought the war would be over by the time I got through flight school. But obviously it didn't, and I was with a squadron that got moved into Thailand in 1972 to fly missions into Vietnam from there. It was, nobody wanted to be in the war by then. We were so tired of watching it on TV for 10 years and all the guys that had died over there. And it didn't seem like we were ever going to take the initiative and really try to win it. We were just, I don't know why. It was just a political thing. But it was not fun. And again, it was a sad thing when we got home. I had more of a survivor's guilt, because I had 7 really good buddies that I'd gone through flight school with that got shot down and didn't come back. And so I kept thinking, why me? Why did I come back? Mm-hmm. And it's really something, one thing that came out of Vietnam, I think, was we really learned for the first time about PTSD and shell shock. And it was true in every war we've sent men into, that they just aren't the same when they come back out.
Well, before you left to become a Marine, you made a promise to your mom.
Well, basically, she was really worried that I would be sent to Vietnam, and I tried to reassure her and say, Mom, I'm going to write to you regularly, almost every day, just to alleviate your fears. And I tried to do, I kept my promise, but I tried to write about things that were just funny that happened to us in the squadrons or whatever, almost anything except the military. I was obviously telling her about boot camp and about flight school and about, Asia as I was writing these letters, but I was trying to keep them upbeat. And that's all it was. I sent these letters home. I got letters from them regularly. And it wasn't until I had been back about 6 years, and I was married and had a couple girls, and my mom had cancer. And she was, we went up to Iowa to visit her and let her be with the grandchildren. And I just asked her one day, I said, Mom, did you ever save any of those letters? And she said, oh, yeah, I've got them all. They're in a box up in the attic, and I'm going to reread them someday. I'm going to get in and read those against them. I said, no, you're not. You're fighting a bunch of other stuff right now. Can I take them back to Dallas and reread them myself? And I found by going through the letters, it was really therapeutic for me to read them again and to relive the good and the bad times, but to really have that information right there. And I decided I would put them in chronological order at first and just make a scrapbook. But they're handwritten, most of them, and they're hard to read. And I thought, I'm going to retype just parts of all these letters so that I'd actually have a book for her to read. And I gave that to her for a Christmas present that year. And it was the best gift I ever gave her, really. She was really...
And really a gift for you, too. All told, Don, how many letters did you write to your mom while you served in Vietnam?
The book itself is about 70,000 words, so it's
quite a few letters.
It's quite a few letters.
Yeah.
And I had to be selective and just take the best parts of each letter, because a lot of the letters are kind of the same thing over and over, and I tried to take that out and just have one good story in each letter for her, and that's what I did.
And when you were reading each one of those letters, did it take you right back to that moment, even remembering where you were when you were writing those letters?
No question. And it still does. After I gave them to her, she died of cancer that next year. And so I got the book back, and I put it in my closet and sat on a shelf for 45 years. And I just got it out one day, and I reread them. And again, I could relive the letters. Just it was so amazing to me 45 years later to get to read them. And I thought, I think a lot of the guys that were in Vietnam could identify with this. They could relate. They went through something very similar or worse, and it's therapeutic to just talk about it and read about it, and that's why I published it. I decided it would be helpful for other Marines and other Vietnam veterans in general.
Don, here's what I've learned in all these years that I've been a host and doing lots of interviews with veterans. I know that some combat veterans who served want to share the experience of war, and some don't want to talk about it at all, even with their families. We're remembering right now the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon on April 30th. Where do you fall when it comes to talking about what you went through serving in the Vietnam War?
That's a really good question. And I was one of the ones that didn't talk about it much. I really couldn't talk about it much with my friends because they had never been to Vietnam, and they couldn't really relate. And my own family, my dad was in World War II, and he would never talk about World War II. And I asked him why, and he said, I just wanted to get home, start a family, restart my life, and forget about all that negative stuff. And I think I did the same thing. I just didn't want to relive it. By talking about it all the time, I just kept quiet. And that way I didn't have to deal with it. I could kind of push it away. Reading the book is a whole different experience because that's funny stories, but it was also, I didn't have to go through it mentally as much as if I was explaining it to somebody.
That sounds like it must have been just very therapeutic for you. What was the transition to civilian life when you got back home? Was it hard?
Yeah, when I got back to the States, it wasn't a good time because the people were still protesting the war. They really were tired of it after 10 years of us over that. And they were spitting on our uniforms and everything else. So basically, I didn't want to bring it up. That's kind of why we didn't talk about it also. We just wanted to get on with our lives and get married and have kids and just have a normal life. So that part wasn't hard for me. I wanted to get out of the military the day I could get out. And I haven't looked back, really, except through these letters. So,
Don, the friendships that you made while serving in Vietnam, you said you lost a lot of friends too, but do you stay connected to those that made it back home?
Oh, yeah. We get together almost every year or a couple of years. And that's funny you mention that because that is a bond that you have with those guys that's just as strong as a family bond after you're going through something like this together. That's why losing them was so tough, but also all of us have lived the 50 years and had a full life, and we still are great friends, and we can just pick right back up. If we haven't seen each other for a year or two, it's like we haven't even been apart. We just can start laughing again and talking, and they're the closest friends in the world. They really are.
Oh, I think that is great. This is Don Eggspueller, former Marine combat pilot. He's written in letters to his mom while serving in Vietnam and wrote a book about it, counting those days. April 30th, Don, the 50th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. Do you remember that day? I know that was 3 years after your return, but do you remember hearing that news?
Yeah, no question about it. First of all, I was so relieved to find out when they released the POWs because of the Paris peace talk. We did find one of our guys did come back, Al Kroboff, that we thought had died. But he came back, and he had gone through a really rough experience in that he had gone up to the Hanoi Hilton and all that. So we were happy and relieved that he got to be freed. And then we really thought the war would be over, it would be a peaceful place. And as soon as we left, of course, they attacked again and came in, and we weren't ready to fight again. We just let them take it. And that's the sad part, especially if you go to the Vietnam Wall in Washington and you see those 55,000 names. And my buddies were in the last 50 names of the people that died in Vietnam. And so you look at that and you say, what a waste. What a waste of men and material. And, and we inflicted all this damage on that country, and for what? We didn't go win the war. We didn't try to win the war. If we wanted to win that war, we could have in a month. Look at how big the United States is compared to Vietnam. And that's what really brought them to the peace table, was we were bombing Hanoi day and night, and it just didn't stop. And they finally said, okay, we're willing to give up. And if we'd have done that in the first month of the war, it would have been over. It wouldn't have been a big deal. Each one of those guys has a story, and they have a family, and they have maybe a wife or children. And that is what's so sad about this.
Do you feel more appreciated for your service today than you did when you got home?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think a lot of people realize that they didn't treat us right when we came home. And again, you can understand it, because they were just mad. They were angry at our government and about the whole thing. And I was too before I went in the service. In college, I was in those protests and saying, this isn't right. But again, when you're called by your country, you go do what you got to go do. And I answered the call, but I didn't agree with it. Let's put it that way.
I'm so glad you finally feel the appreciation that you deserve. I do see more Vietnam veterans wearing their ball caps with Vietnam vet across the top. Thank you. Thank you again for your service, and to all of our veterans. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. You can get the book on Amazon, Amazon.com. Any place else, Don?
Well, I have some people have had a hard time finding it on Amazon because they've got so many books. So if they go to my website, it's called lifelessonsbooks.net, lifelessonsbooks.net, and that has all my books in there, and all they got to do is click on the one they're interested in, and it'll take them right to that page in Amazon where they can order it.
Got it. Thank you, Don. Appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you, Terry. I sure appreciate being with you.
To all of our veterans and to our Vietnam veterans, thank you. Thank you so, so much. All right, coming up, we're going to check in with comedian Blake Champlin. He's walking around the country, and we're going to find out why after the news on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct.
Terri Stacy, Denny Smith, Kielynn Talley, producing today's show. 317-239-9393 is our number. And you guys, on the phone with us is somebody we connected with about a year ago, comedian Blake Champlin. And Blake at that time was talking about his big walk that he wanted to accomplish, walking around the perimeter of the United States.
Sort of a Forrest Gump type of thing.
Kind of a thing, right.
Right.
And doggone it, he did it. He's doing it right now, and he joins us now on the phone. Blake, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
You betcha. Where are you?
I am in a town called Edgewater, Florida. I'm very close to Daytona.
Oh,
I'm
man.
sure I'm going to be hitting Daytona today or tomorrow.
Okay. Now, you started about, what, January something?
January 7th in Sarasota.
You really did it. And just to be clear, everybody, you prepared for this. Denny, Kielynn, he actually took a course with a Navy SEAL in the Georgia mountains, some kind of hiking thing, right, to prepare for this? A survivor kind of course?
Well, somewhat. That wasn't the only thing I did, but yes, part of it, it was a 24-hour nonstop hike through the Georgia mountains. And the real main rule is we weren't allowed to set down for that entire 24 hours. So it was constant walking. We ended up doing like 43 and a half miles. And that's almost all up and down hill. And it was intense. But it taught me a really good lesson that I was really weak-minded, and because I almost quit. But fortunately, it was a great group of people, and they kept me in it.
Blake, tell everybody, because I'm just kind of jumping ahead, but there may be somebody hearing you for the first time on why you wanted to do this.
Well, the basis of it is when I came up with the idea of it, something told me that I had to do it, and so it's several reasons, but that's the basis. And then one of the main reasons is that I just want people to be happy. And so just carrying this backpack has gotten me so many really genuine conversations, and people are excited about it. They love hearing about it. And just to see the smiles on their face makes everything worth it. And I haven't really gotten too much into the street performing part of it yet. I have done some, but that's also another way that I want to help just bring happiness to people's faces, or smiles to people's faces, sure. Because I really believe that if people are happy and they feel joy, that they can look past their differences and actually have civil conversations, as opposed to what ends up happening on the internet, where people tend to just react. They be reactive, and they look at the surface rather than really trying to get to know each other. And so that's a big part of it. There's more to it than that, but
yeah.
Blake, you're documenting your journey, Blake's Big Walk, on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And so not only online conversations, but truly in-person conversations. Tell us about some of the people that you've met along this journey.
Oh, man. This has been one of the greatest parts about the whole journey, is because my whole adult life, I haven't really been a big people person. And now I absolutely love meeting people, which I was not expecting. And here just last week, I met a guy from Canada who has literally walked from the Arctic Circle all the way down to here. And with the exception, he had to take like a plane and a boat and a couple of spots to get across the water. But that's pretty amazing. And his whole thing is his name's Marcus Freeman. He's trying to promote mental health and everything. He's a great guy. I also, there's a guy named Carlos I met in Key Largo. It turns out his family, how many generations back, was the very first family to put a house in the Florida Keys. And so he goes back generations. Great guy. Here just a couple of days ago, I met a guy who works, I watched my first rocket launch, and it turns out this guy's been working on these rockets for 40 years. Wow. And it runs in his family. His dad did it. He does it. His kids are doing it. And I never thought I would meet someone who's actually working on rockets. He works something to do with hydrogen gas or the hydrogen fuel, but
That's so cool, Blake. That's really cool. I mean, the things when I look at, and Denny's got a question for you, but the things that I see you doing, you know, you talk about everything from alligators in the road to stupid billboards that you see about everywhere, blisters on your feet. I mean, it just goes on. Denny, go ahead, please.
Okay, Blake, I'm going to get to the basics here. How do you choose your route? Because if you're doing the perimeter, you're going to end up in Minnesota, in North Dakota, and I had a plumbing shop up there, and it's bloody cold. But more importantly, Blake, where do you pee? You know, you're walking, you're drinking all this coffee and water.
True.
Let's get practical here. Where do you do things like that?
Well, I can't release all my secrets.
Okay.
When you got to go, you got to go.
Yeah.
It's exactly right. But the thing about being on the perimeter, a lot of it is, I mean, it's just, especially on the coast, it's just town after town because everybody wants to live along the coast. So I tend to walk by a lot of gas stations and grocery stores, but there are times when, you know, I have to find a bush somewhere, and that's the way things go.
I've been there, brother. No worries. Your secret's safe with me.
Kielynn.
Yeah.
You have done some crazy things, I'm sure. Tell us about, what would you say, ranking your crazy things so far in this journey, what is the number one craziest thing you've done to keep going on your journey?
The number one craziest thing I've done during this walk?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wow, that's a really good question. I mean, just the walk itself.
Absolutely, yeah. And maybe like sleeping.
Going through the Everglades was one of the coolest. That's probably the coolest thing I've ever done. I'd never experienced the feeling that I got when I went to the Everglades. It was a feeling of just awness of looking at the scenery. I've never, I didn't know I could feel that, and just seeing all the alligators and being so close to all the alligators, that was crazy. Just walking along the road, I stopped counting at 22 alligators, and they were all literally just a few feet away from me. And you saw the pictures on my account. It's that was pretty wild, but there's nothing to worry about when you're walking by alligators. Just be smart and use common sense.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what, Blake, this is just the beginning. You know, this is just the beginning of all of those things, all those experiences and things you're going to see along this route. I know Denny's got a question. Go ahead.
Do you have a crew, and do you have signage on you so people know what in the world it is you are doing? Do you have a crew that supports you too?
No crew. It's all me. And no, I don't have any signage. Those are stuff I've been thinking about. Because I'm learning as I go. And, you know, part of me is trying to keep my ego in check. Like, how much of this do I really want out? I mean, because, part of me feel if I'm going to do all that, I feel like, am I doing too much? Is that all my ego talking and just trying to feel like I'm doing something great and making sure everybody knows so that I feel better about myself? Or is it can I do that without ego and just trying to spread the spread the good.
Spread the good.
So with
your ukulele.
Yeah, and jokes.
And your jokes too. And your jokes too. Okay, now how are your feet doing?
Oh, my feet are great. I'm getting pretty good at knowing how to take care of them now, and how to rest them and keep the blisters in check. It's but the great thing is sometimes I just have to push through the pain, and that just it's making me stronger. But I have to also be smart about it too. And so, but yeah, my feet are great.
How many shoes? Have you thought about how many pairs of shoes you need?
I haven't. I'm on my second pair now.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll see. I don't really think too much about how much I'm going to need. I live, my whole life is day to day now. Everything is just playing it by ear and being very day to day.
Have you gotten up by Jupiter, Florida yet? Are you past Jupiter?
I feel like I've already passed Jupiter,
think you
Florida.
have.
I wanted to warn you, don't worry about the alligators. As you go along that coastline, people have peacocks for watchdogs, and peacocks are really aggressive. And I had a plumbing company there called Sun Plumbing, and I got chased off a job by more peacocks. To hell with alligators. The peacocks were dangerous.
That's crazy. I have actually seen peacocks along the walk, and surprisingly enough, I don't know if you wanted me to say this, but I actually saw my very first time in my life a dead peacock on the side of the road. Somebody did it.
Well, he probably had it coming.
Denny.
I got no sympathy for them birds.
You know, I'm curious, as you're planning your route, do you plan where your food is going to be? Do you pack food? Do you stop for food? I'm a foodie, so...
And where he sleeps, too.
Yeah,
I mean, sleeping
all of
under
the
bridges and
essentials.
things like that. But he's got to stay safe as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, sleeping is awkward because I just have to find a spot and make it work and hope for the best. But sometimes people let me stay in their house or let me, or a church will let me pitch my tent on their property, which is amazing. But you know, a lot of nights I have no idea where I'm going to sleep until it gets dark and I have to find a spot. But as far as food goes, I do carry some food with me, but I also learned that since I'm so close to towns all the time, to cut weight, I actually went ahead and just ate most of the food that I had, the backup food. And I can go to Publix grocery stores, and I can buy these pre-made sandwiches and a quart of milk for cheaper than the food that I was carrying. They were freeze-dried meals, and it's way cheaper than a restaurant as well. So I tend to do that quite a bit.
Well, it's called Blake's Big Walk, and we are so proud of you that you really did accomplish you're getting there, but you really said, I'm going to do this, and you really prepared for it, and you're doing it, and have been. You left your mom's house, mom and dad's, your parents' home in Florida, and now you're making your way around the perimeter of our country. Blake Champlin is his name, and stand-up comedian, friend of Dave Wilson's. That's how we got to know him, and walking the United States perimeter. You can follow him at Blake's Big Walk on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And we're just so happy to get to talk to you, Blake. We're going to check in with you periodically and see how you're doing, but continue to follow you on social media as well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you. Brother. Good luck. Take care, and we'll talk again.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Do you realize how much courage that takes?
Takes a lot of courage. By himself, no crew.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd have been done in 48 hours. I'd have been like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Just admit it and just find something else.
Move on.
Denny's Dollars and Cents coming up, and you're going to talk about chicks?
Well, let's just say that I listened to the Tractor...
Wait,
no,
Denny,
not those chicks, not the Dixie Chicks.
Oh, okay.
I listened to the Tractor Supply conference call, and I heard the strangest thing about...
How many people you know that can say that?
Well, but... I learned a lot about chickens during the call, and I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
This is a publicly traded number 293 of the Fortune 500.
Well, a lot of people investing in chickens.
Yeah,
your urban farmers as well. I've never seen so many chickens along Washington Street.
You will not believe it.
All right, we'll do that when we come back. Hey, thanks for joining us here. This is the first day on 93 WIBC.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage. Go to rapidradios.com and you'll get up to 60% off.
Eggspueller, right?
You got a friend in
Denny.
You got a friend in
Denny. I don't hear you, Kielynn, in the back.
When the road gets rough ahead.
Thankfully, we're not walking the road. But
Yeah. We're going to be talking chickens here.
You just remember what your
friend Denny said.
Was there a chicken in Toy Story? I don't think there was.
surely. Let me
Was there?
All right, probably not. So let me test you a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Have you heard of any of these breeds?
Okay.
The Appenzeller Spitzhauben,
Heard it just a couple days ago.
the Barnvelder Blue Andalusian.
Blue Andalusian. Yep.
Yeah, Buff Brahma. Okay, well, here's what happened. This week, I like to tune into occasional
Tractor talk.
No stockholder calls where they fill you in about how the corporation was going. And Tractor
Is that
Supply
available for everybody?
Yeah, anybody can dial. Yeah, anybody can dial in now.
No
Now,
way.
I do
Kielynn,
it
your
under.
dreams come true.
I do it under a company named Smith Advisory Group,
But we all can.
Anybody can do it. So I'm listening to this, and I hear Hal Lawton, who is the CEO of Tractor Supply Company, and their sales were up 4%. Now everybody else in retail. Now this, to give you a rough idea, this is a $14 billion company. And to be up 4% is a lot to be up. So we started driving down the thing, and I found out that they have 7 to 8 million people following them who get their daily emails. 7 to 8 million people. Now think about that. And what has been driving this is people are buying chickens by mail, 10 at a time. And when you look at it, they are coming from a place called Hoover's Hatchery. Now, doesn't that sound like
Is
fun?
that in our country?
It's in our
I hope
country.
so.
Right.
I've never, don't know how things.
But you can buy turkeys, you can buy ducks, you can buy chickens. Now, I'll start with you, Terry, because you're easy to tease. Do you know what a pullet is?
A pullet is a rooster pullet hen. Rooster pullet hen. A rooster pullet. A pullet is rooster pullet hen. So is that a baby?
It's a baby female chicken who has not begun to lay. So
don't you remember? Did your grandpa ever do that?
No.
Knock on your forehead, rooster.
Well,
and
he
then pull
knocked on
your
my
nose,
forehead, but
and
it
then
wasn't
send
about
hen?
chickens. I didn't dig the ditch well. I remember Grandpa Clark. I was digging a ditch, and he goes, "Get out of that ditch! I'm gonna show you how to die." No, that's what I remember about my grandpa. But anyway, Tractor Supply they are always out of chickens. Now, you can pick them up if there's a Tractor Supply around you, and maybe a Rural King. They have these great big galvanized tubs, and they've got all the chickens in them. Now, there's a difference
warm lights
between
above
buying. Here's the thing: that when the previous administration culled the flock, when they culled the flock, that's when our eggs went up to $8 a dozen.
Because of the
Right.
virus.
That's
or
when
was it the bird? That was the bird flu.
This
right?
happened
No, this was
just last year.
Yeah.
They culled it because of bird flu. And culling means they just killed them all. And that was just terrible. But anyway, when you start messing with food supply, people start getting creative. So everybody was buying chickens. They could not keep chickens in stock, or chicks. You don't buy the big ones. And I've learned so much about chicks this week that I just think it's hilarious.
I think here's what I've learned about urban people, urban chicken farming. Because you're right, we think, well, this will be it. I'll have chickens in the backyard and it'll be okay. Chicks have so many predators, including dogs and other
and
birds
hawks and everything. You
and
have
everything.
to keep
and
them
they can
caged
dig underneath your fences and
raccoons
and
are the worst
raccoons
because
are
they,
the worst.
they
right.
just want the blood.
And foxes, we have all of that here in the city, and so everything is they're predators.
All right,
everywhere
so
for
here's
the chicks.
the
Poor little
specifics. Did you know that the healthy hen can lay up to 300 eggs a year? Now, when I first wrote that, I mistyped it, and I said, a healthy men can lay up to 300 eggs per year. And then I realized I wasn't typing very well as I was going. But that being said, the whole idea is make America healthy again. People are trying to handle their own food sources.
Yeah, just be smart
It's
about
the whole
it.
homesteading.
It's exactly
absolutely.
right, Kai. The gardening phenomenon has just gone crazy this year.
Yeah.
You talked about yesterday the gardening and nude thing that's supposed to happen.
That's right. Nude gardening is next Saturday.
Yeah, now the crazies are coming in, is what we're saying. But this is just so interesting about chickens. Chickens, their manure is one of the most nutrient after rabbits. So rabbits have the most nutrient manure, but chicken manure, so what they do is they put their hen houses on wheels and they put it over their garden and then they drag it off on the wheels when they're ready to.
I've never heard that before.
So anyway, if you ever get to a Tractor Supply, which is just fun anyway,
it
is a great place. Be sure to ask a lot of questions because you can buy chickens unsexed or sexed. and they're 90% accurate, which I wish we could do that as human
Meaning
beings.
you know that they know the sex of the chicken?
Yeah, most people want one rooster and a whole bunch. There can only be one rooster in a hen house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Truly.
but anyway, there you go. Everything
Where do
to
you
do
get your rooster?
same place.
Oh.
Well, you got to
At the
get
Tractor Supply?
You got to get sexed. I mean, they got. I don't know how they do that, but the Japanese women used to be really good at it. Really, I'm telling you the
Man,
truth here.
all I'm thinking about is Toy Story and chickens.
Draw that man in a chicken suit.
Okay. Listen, we've got
You're the
another
best,
hour
Kielynn.
to come. Thanks for being here with us. Today's top stories, they're coming up next. And this is the first day on 93 WIBC.
Do you have an idea for a book? Fiction?
St. Mary Major. Fox's Lauren Green reports from Vatican City.
Catholic Church is observing the second of 9 days of mourning for Pope Francis. And the day also coincides with a long-planned Jubilee for youth. So tens of thousands of teenagers from all over the world are here in Rome. Many attended the funeral yesterday, but today was their day. About 200,000 filled St. Peter's Square for memorial mass led by Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Vatican Secretary of State, and Francis's second in command, who many papal watchers are predicting could be the next pope.
Francis is the first pope in more than a century to be buried outside of the Vatican. President Trump is back in the United States after having what he called good talks with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky in Rome yesterday. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports.
The initial assessment from both sides of the roughly 15-minute meeting is that the conversations were positive. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying, in part, hoping for results on everything we covered, protecting lives of our people, full and unconditional ceasefire, reliable and lasting peace that will prevent another war from breaking out. Very symbolic meeting that has potential to become historic if we achieve joint results. He goes on to thank the president, a shift in tone after their argument at the Oval Office in February. But in a new Truth Social post, President Trump questions Russian President Vladimir Putin's commitment to end the war, pointing to his attacks on civilian areas over the last few days.
A man accused of killing a Muslim worshiper in a mosque in southern France still on the run. Police say the victim was stabbed to death Friday while alone with the suspect in Le Grand Combe. The Grand Mosque of Paris says the victim had just finished cleaning it. America is listening to Fox News.
As President Trump's first 100 days comes to a close, join the Fox News Rundown for a deep dive into the history already made and a look ahead to what's next for the administration. Whether it is impacting your family, your finances, or the world, we've got the insight you need, plus the expert analysis and unique perspective you expect from Fox News. The Fox News Rundown, first 100 days. Listen and follow now at foxnewsrundown.com or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
This is Jason Chaffetz from the Jason in the House podcast. Join me every Monday to dive deeper into the latest political headlines and chat with remarkable guests to hear their take on American life, politics, and entertainment. And don't forget, there's always somebody doing something stupid somewhere.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcast.com
or wherever you download podcasts.
Must listen to podcasts from Fox News Audio.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level.
on the go.
What to look forward to? You've got sunny skies and 59 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 12:03. The work week will start off with sunny skies, but then storms may be on the way. Tuesday may be your main concern throughout the week, as strong winds and hail are your biggest threats. Andrew White with the National Weather Service says the state will also get some rain.
Really, through the day, Tuesday into Wednesday, we're looking at amounts of probably around a half inch to maybe as high as an inch in the heaviest spots of rain.
White says this could happen pretty much anywhere across the states.
Yeah, at this point, really just about anywhere has an equal chance for the severe weather. There's not too much of a difference as you move north to south.
The heroic conduct by 2 women was honored this weekend by Indiana State Police. John Herrick reports.
You know how sometimes in a movie the main character is able to get out of a damaged car right before it bursts into flames? Well, back in October of last year, an elderly man was trapped in a vehicle that overturned on I-65 in White County. Police say Tana McKinley and Siri Sahu saw the vehicle, ran up to it, and helped him get out. And right after that, the vehicle burst into flames. All 3 people are okay. Sahu and McKinley were given the life-saving award certificate for their bravery and service. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
You're paying an average of $3.07 a gallon of gas in Indiana today. Indy Colts manager Chris Ballard opened their NFL draft as well. And now here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies become mostly sunny. High temperatures in the upper 60s tonight. Mostly clear skies remain in place. Low temperatures near 50 degrees. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Still 59 degrees on Monument Circle, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
We love playing high school sports because we get to compete and have fun with our friends.
We've also learned skills we'll need for the rest of our lives. I'm Sawyer Tittman from Fort Wayne Snyder High School.
And I'm Pierce Darrington from Floyd Central High School. It takes discipline and commitment to put in the work every practice.
It takes focus and determination to make the right play when the game is on the line.
It takes resilience and humility to find ways to improve after a tough loss.
What better way to learn these life skills than by playing high school sports?
Where we have coaches who mentor us, teammates who become our best friends, memories we'll never forget.
And important life lessons ingrained in us forever.
I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig. Be a champion of high school sports by buying a ticket to your high school's athletic events. This is developing character for life. This is what education-based athletics are all about. This is your IHSAA.
Picture-perfect blue skies in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Terry.
Hi,
I'm
Terry.
Denny. Yeah. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Denny.
We're in therapy, that's for sure.
It's our Sunday therapy with you. Thank you.
With you. Oh, she pointed to the cameras. I often forget, most often forget that there are people. Is anybody watching us?
Heck yeah.
Are they there?
Oh, yeah.
Hi,
They're all
everybody watching
commenting,
us
saying hi. Hi,
on
everybody.
YouTube. Thank you. She's
Terry,
probably tricking
Kathleen,
me.
Nicholas, Jennifer.
Oh,
Bowden
okay.
Jam, LD.
There are folks there.
And everyone on Twitter X.
Here's to a great day. Go Pacers.
Go Pacers. Yes, sir.
Why is that game so
9:30.
late?
Don't
Both
know.
teams are here in the center of the United States, and it's a 9:30 start.
9:30 start.
Who's in charge of that schedule?
I don't know, but I don't care for it.
Yeah.
9:30 tonight. Yeah, Pacers, Bucks in Milwaukee. Then they come back home on Tuesday, I do believe, for a 6 o'clock game. And if needed, then we go to Friday, maybe? I don't look beyond that.
I hope we just
I'm
get to
hoping it's
Tuesday.
just over by then. On to the next
Oh,
round.
boy.
Bring it on. I feel good about them. Terri Stacy, as I mentioned, I do want to thank Beth Curtis and Julie Robinson Brown of the Salvation Army Women's Auxiliary for inviting me to be the bingo caller for the Purse Bingo Extravaganza on Friday night. That was super good. Also, Sharon Clearwater. Everybody got your worry worms? Show them. Sharon Clearwater is an amazing
Thank you,
individual.
Sharon.
And she makes worry worms. And she's part of the Indiana Donor Network. She does volunteer work for them. So she's a lovely lady, and she made us all a worry worm. Thank you, Sharon. We love them. All right, here we go. It is prom time, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh, and it was lining the streets last night.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
In downtown?
So many wonderful people all across downtown and all the downtown venues. coming up in the elevator at our work, there was so much glitter and sparkle all over the floor.
I found, let me just say, I used the restroom on the first floor on my way in this morning, and I found more black hair and more black feathers and empty water bottles than I've ever seen in the women's bathroom on the fourth floor or first floor.
That's almost too much information, Terri.
Well, I mean, it's just as if someone was maybe, I don't know
They
what
were
happened
getting ready.
in there.
They were doing their thing. There were a lot of tables set up in the lobby, so whether they were
maybe we had
hosting a
something here.
pre-prom or I don't know, but whoever it was having fun.
You know, next year we should host a pre-prom event.
That would be
and
fun.
host it in our lobby on Monument Circle. We can take the pictures on the fourth floor deck. Oh, wait a
Wouldn't
minute.
that be beautiful?
Will
well,
we still be
we'll
here?
talk at the bank.
We won't be here anymore. Never mind. Oh, shoot.
Yiminy.
Hey, you had a little one in going to the prom this
We
year.
had two. Jonah, my grandson, who is soon to be 17, and Marin, my granddaughter, who is soon to be 16, both went to prom, and it was at the Children's Museum. And I thought, what a great place to have a prom.
Spot.
What a great
Oh,
place.
man. Maybe people don't have proms in their schools anymore. Was our prom in school? Maybe the after prom. I don't remember now.
Our
but
prom.
Ours was at a winery.
Oh, that's
What?
At a
Yeah,
high
we didn't
school
get
at
to
a
drink any,
winery?
but it was beautiful.
Beautiful spot. Ooh, that's a good one.
I can't
So-
even remember where ours was, but it was a long time
Me
ago.
either. Or the theme or anything.
But anyway, the dresses were just drop dead gorgeous.
Our dresses, are they long dresses now?
They're long
are the
dresses.
Girls still wearing
they're
long
fitted,
dresses?
and they're thin straps. You know, the girls are.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Denny's.
that
Man,
didn't
good
happen when I
explaining
was.
fashion.
Well, you know, thin strap. You know what I mean. But it was
Spaghetti
a
strap?
beautiful dark teal for Marin, and beautiful bouquet. Jonah had a dapper little boutonniere, and I just can't believe my grandkids are going to prom.
It's so fun.
And Jonah's date's name, Penelope. Sweetest little
Love the
girl.
name.
I just it was just really, really
Great
good.
names. We met a Matilda yesterday.
Wasn't she charming?
Just the cutest little thing. 8th grader. We had her on the air during the Home and Garden Show.
We
were
learned
out
some
at the
new
Decorator
slang
Show home.
terms. You know, like what's the T? That's the old one. But then she said something about clock. I still don't know what that one
Right.
was about.
Kylan, do you know the word clock?
If you got clocked.
No, that's knocked out. You know.
Well,
or do you have
okay,
it?
so
Okay.
there's a new way. So if I were saying something sly and you caught it, you were like, Kylan, what are you doing there? Oh, okay, she clocked me. All right. It's just yeah.
Now that's different from what I heard. But all of those, they went right over our head.
They really
You know?
did. We
They're
could be
kinda
having
fun
them mixed
sometimes.
up.
Even Ohio, if you call someone Denny, you're kind of being Ohio right now.
What does that mean?
Take a guess.
You're being Ohio, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Old and stupid.
Ohio.
Well,
Ohio.
I mean, I
You're
guess
being-
sometimes you can be that way, but not.
Ohio.
What's it mean?
She's mad at me
Ohio
because
is mid. You're just kind of you're being
Ohio. How did Ohio get chosen for that?
we were talking about prom.
Well,
I had
then
enough
you
trouble
started
at
talking
prom.
about.
I know.
Start talking about all these things. Yeah.
great?
Ohio,
Do you
that's a
remember
new
your-
one.
Do you remember who you went to prom with? Or did
I
you
went
go-
with my sisters.
You went with your sisters.
Yeah.
Now that's what Marin did. Marin went with her crew. Okay.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
They
what
have
we
the
love.
best time. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Then all they have to think about is how great they look. They don't have to worry
Exactly.
about anything else than
Exactly.
just going
No
and having a great
drama.
time with their friends.
Exactly.
Man,
Okay.
talk about drama. I am so thankful I don't have to hear this sound anymore. It was stuck in my head all week, let me tell you. The amount of drama that comes with the draft, I never gave it credit for how much goes on with the
Yes,
draft.
262
Oh my
times, or however many
gosh.
times it takes place.
Man, it's
And
pretty crazy.
And truly, Kylan, to see where the draft is now, as far as you got to be there, you got to be watching every minute. You've got the thousands of people that were there watching the draft, and we'd have 7 picks. Is that right? I think we had 7 picks in the
1, 2,
draft.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
They picked up the Notre Dame quarterback, which I think was a steal. I'm
Indiana, or
excited
Colts
about
did?
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
we
his
did.
name?
Let's
Is that,
let's start at the beginning. So we
Okay.
had Tyler Warren, who's
Okay.
a tight end from Penn State, which obviously is a perfect pick for the Colts, especially according to Shane Steichen.
He's a guy, that can do it all. I mean, you guys know that. He can catch, he can run, he can throw. I mean, we might play him on defense. I don't know. When he's got the ball in his hands, this guy is physical, run after catch. He'll lay the wood on you. He'll hurt you. It's going to bring a lot to our football
That
team
is
for
a
sure.
great addition to our roster. Fills that hole. And I mean, Tyler Warren is.
Is he cute?
Well,
He wears glasses. He's a good student. He's got long hair.
Not as cute.
Really? He looks like Sir Lancelot is who he looks like.
Does he?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
That's a great compliment.
All right, next.
Okay, next would be JTT. He's an edge rusher from Ohio State. JTT. Denny, have you heard of him yet?
I have not, but when you say edge rusher, that means defensive end to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
JTT. All right. His name, JT Tuimoloau.
Tuimoloau.
Ready? Hear it again.
Jalen Tuimoloau.
Tuimoloau.
Okay, let's break it down. JT
Tuimoloau.
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 Is he Hawaiian or Samoan? Okay, that's a heck of a name.
It's a
Can you imagine
great
having to
name.
write that in first grade?
I'll just go with JTT.
Dear Lord, can I buy another vowel?
Yeah. JTT, and he's excited. He had a lot to say about what he's going to be adding to it, and just as you said, a lot defensively.
1, passionate, 2, powerful, and 3, a mixture. At my size, I'm able to have speed and power, and I think you're just getting a all-around player who's always hungry and never wants to settle and never just wants to get complacent.
Amen. And then moving on, we have Justin Wally, center back from Minnesota. Jalen Travis, he's a tackle from Iowa State. DJ Giddens, running back from Kansas State. And then Riley Leonard, as you said,
is this the guy?
QB from Notre Dame. He's the one that brought them to the national championships this year. So
And just a humble, hard-working athlete. He will be a good addition to the Colts.
oh my gosh, yeah. And he even said it himself about how excited he is to be drafted with the Colts.
Throughout this whole process, there's no place that I would rather be than back in Indiana. So even when I was at the combine in Indianapolis, it kind of just felt like home.
I love it. I'm happy we get to keep a Hoosier
I like
here.
him too. I want to keep him.
I know. It'll be exciting. Okay, so we have to have 3 quarterbacks, right? So he's our third one that we're adding. And I've heard that he's pretty much a good combination of both of our quarterbacks right now. So happy to have him. And then we have Tim Smith, defensive tackle from Alabama, and then Hunter Wohler, linebacker from Wisconsin. So pretty good lineup. I'm excited.
We shall see.
Let's
we
go.
shall see. We shall see.
Maybe
Blues,
sports is back.
Blues $1 Million Colts Schedule Challenge. This is $1 million, and that's how much you could win if you perfectly predict the Colts 2025 schedule. You can try your luck by Wednesday, April 30th. Correct. All you have to do is correctly guess. All you have to do is correctly guess all 13 weeks of the Colts regular season schedule for your chance to win that $1 million awarded by Blue. If there's no grand prize winner, the fan with the most accurate predictions will win 2 season tickets. Go to Colts.com to try your luck. It is the first day. It's 12:15. We'll be back. 93 WIBC.
The Pothole, formed in
Denny, Kielynn with you this morning. Hey, Todd and Kathleen Jamison, they own this beautiful place called Balanced Harvest Farm. It's in Shelby County, and they grow beautiful, beautiful flowers, and they sell them at different spots around the city. Well, I spoke to Todd earlier in the week, and he says with May right around the corner, it's time to wake up your garden.
Spring cleaning in your garden beds is the first thing you should do to ensure a successful gardening season. This weekend is the perfect time to remove any leaves or debris that has blown in or accumulated into your garden over the winter. You can cut back the dead foliage on your perennials that are going to soon begin to grow but appear dead from last year, and just do some general garden cleanup maintenance. It's really a great time to get that done before things aggressively begin to grow. And, you know, keep in mind that a garden is a living, breathing thing, and it morphs over time, and it requires some general maintenance. You know, Terry, you're a gardener. You know that sometimes you go out and you buy a new plant and you carefully read the label, and it says it's going to grow from 9 to 12 inches tall, and you bring it home and you give it tender, loving care. You place it in a special place in the garden, and 2 years later, you have a 3-foot-tall, gigantic plant that is overshadowing everything that's near it. Again, this is the perfect time that those plants can be dug up and moved while they're in a very small size. And, you know, you don't have to get rid of it. Just move it to a new place in the garden that is appropriate for it. Get it situated in its new home. If it's very dry when you're digging it up, maybe water it a little bit before you try digging it up. Let it drink. Dig it up and move it to its new home and plant it in its new place where it has room to grow. And that will stop it from shading out the other plants that are around it that have probably been suffering because of the shade in the garden. So small things like that will make a really big difference in your growing season. One of the secrets to having good, living, breathing soil is having a proper amount of organic matter in your soil. And the plant material that you're removing out of the gardens, the trimmings, the maybe the cuttings, the pieces that you're taking off, add them to a compost bin or a compost pile, and next year you will have beautiful organic matter free of charge, made from the waste that was going to go off to the landfill. You can add that back into your soil as a soil additive and improve your garden for future growth. It's a very simple, it's kind of a closed loop system that pays huge rewards.
Todd, when it comes to a compost pile, what is your advice in actually creating one?
You know, you need it to be in a spot where it's going to get a good amount of sun. They sometimes can be unsightly, so you don't want it anywhere where you're going to see it from your yard, or you don't want your neighbor to have to look at it all the time. But if there's an area out back where you have that you can put up something as simple as, a couple of pallets put together in a U shape or pallet-like fencing, put it up there in a U shape and start to build that compost by adding in some dried material or carbon in there, and that could be straw, dried leaves, something brown in nature that was living at one point in time, and then you want to add to it some green items, which will give it the heat to stir that up and start it to break down. And green examples would be kitchen scraps or living green plant material that you want to get out. Keep in mind that it works best if you chop them up a little bit and have smaller pieces. It will start the process of breaking down sooner the smaller the pieces are. But that is one of the simplest and best things you can do for your garden. And again, you're making use out of the waste products. So you're not having to go out and buy anything. You don't have to spend money to make this happen. These are all very simple things that you can do that will really help you in your future gardening.
Todd, anything else you want to talk about this last Sunday in April?
You know, I would say some great tips for the week. Remember, if you're pruning a spring blooming plant, you don't want to do that until after it's bloomed. If you prune it now before it blooms, you'll be cutting the flowers off. So a great example of that is something like lilac or forsythia that blooms in the springtime. As soon as the flowering has stopped, trim it back to the size you want it to be. It will grow again beautifully over the summer and give you a beautiful series of flowers next spring. But summer blooming plants like the woody hydrangea, the ones with the big white pom-pom flowers, need to be pruned now. Cut them back by about a third, and by late summer, you'll have a beautiful array of flowers right there for you to enjoy. If you're a vegetable gardener and you love spring vegetables, get your potatoes, peas, cabbage, and other cool season veggies and get them in the ground now before the excessive heat comes. Remember, I always talk at the Flower and Patio Show about the importance of hardening your plants off before you put them out. Heat-loving plants like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, cantaloupes, watermelons, they need that period of time to adjust to being outdoors. In our homes where we grow the seedlings or in the greenhouses, there is no wind and there is no major change in temperature. So putting them out in a protected place for up to a week will really get them ready to go out into your garden.
Todd Jamison, he and his wife Kielynn own Balanced Harvest Farm in Shelby County. They grow beautiful flowers, and you also sell them. Tell everybody where they can find you with your fresh cut flowers.
On Saturdays, we are always at the Carmel, Zionsville, and Broad Ripple Farmers Market, and on Thursdays at the State House Market. Come on out and see us.
That's Todd on the farm. Thank you, Todd, so much. It is 12:27. Want to remind you the mega yard sale is going on right now at the Indianapolis Animal Care Services. You can shop everything from home decor to baked goods to electronics, and it supports the care of neighborhood cats. This is first day, and coming up, we've got barbecue competition. For those of you that are backyard pit masters, how you can be a part of the fun with Dave Anderson, founder of Famous Dave's, after the news. Thanks, everybody, for watching, too, on YouTube. News is next.
Spring selling season is here. Rates
Sunny and 59 here in downtown. Oh, please bring on the summertime. Now it's sunny, but again, only 59. Don't let it deceive you. Your UV index is high. Still be keeping that sunscreen around? Oh yeah. But summer means some nice food, some nice competition.
Famous Dave's announced the return of its All-Star Barbecue Series for a third consecutive year in partnership with the World Food Championship, kicking off this May right here in Indy at their restaurant and traveling to 10 Famous Dave locations across the country. And joining us now is the founder of Famous Dave's, Dave Anderson. Hey, Dave.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I am rocking and rolling, hunky-dory, feeling groovy, setting the world on fire, got a piggy by the tail. If I felt any better, we'd all be eating some slow-smoked, tender, juicy, mouth-watering barbecued ribs.
Oh my gosh, you're making me hungry. Before we talk about your story, which is a great story, the All-Star Barbecue Series, the competition is among not just professional pitmasters, but you're also looking for the best backyard barbecuers. Is that right?
That's right. You know, everybody has their own secret barbecue recipe. We call them our weekend barbecue warriors. You know, it's guys and gals who throughout the years, either in their family or just something they love to do, because, you know, barbecue is America's food. It's how we celebrate. And when anybody wants to have a good time, they invite all their friends over for a backyard barbecue. And everybody, it seems to have their own special barbecue sauce or how they smoke up ribs, chicken, you know, beef. Everybody has something that just really sets the world on fire, and this is their opportunity to really show the world what they can do.
Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series kicks off in Indy May 3rd. Now tell us what happens at each stop.
Well, the World Food Championships is partnered with Famous Dave's because we are America's best barbecue. And this summer, or this starting off, we are in Indianapolis at Famous Dave's, where it's a qualifier where we have some of the best barbecue pit masters as well as some of the best backyard barbecue pit masters strutting their stuff. They're going to be competing for thousands of dollars in prize money, but the big opportunity is getting the golden ticket to the World Food Championships that will be this November in Indianapolis, right in our own backyard here, for where they'll be competing for $450,000, and that is some sort of prize money. But we're kicking it off just right here in Indianapolis.
Hall of Fame pitmaster Dave Anderson is with us, the founder of Famous Dave's. You are a champion pitmaster and have won some of the most coveted barbecue awards in the nation. So what do you like about competition?
Well, you know, everybody has this barbecue thing where, you know, unlike any other food category, and I know there's like chili cook-offs and hamburger cook-offs and things like that, but barbecue being America's food, everybody has their secret barbecue recipe. And my dad, a Choctaw Indian from the Oklahoma, loved his barbecue. I grew up as a kid eating some of the best barbecue around, and it's always been my life's passion to make the best barbecue in America. And we have won over 800 some best of class awards. We've competed against the best of the best, and we have won almost every major contest in America, proving ourselves to be the best of the best. So we have the trophies, we have the blue ribbons, and we love smoking up great barbecue for our barbecue-loving fans.
Famous Dave's is a great American success story. You opened your first restaurant in 1994 in Haywood, Wisconsin. Was it an instant success?
Well, you know, the story of Famous Dave's is really a dream come true because nobody ever thought we could succeed way up in the north woods of Hayward, Wisconsin. And when I was building the first barbecue restaurant, people would drive by and they'd say, "Dave, what are you doing?" And I tell them, "I'm building a rib shack." And they would laugh at me and they'd say, "Are you crazy? Hayward, Wisconsin? There's only Swedes and Norwegians up here in the north woods. They don't have the first clue." But you know what? This is why America is such a great country, because I had a dream. I never gave up on that dream. And by the end of that first summer, in a town of only 2,000 people, never advertised, we were serving over 6,000 people a week. Word of mouth, everybody telling everybody, oh, you got to try this barbecue joint in the Northwoods. Famous Dave's, they got the best barbecue.
Dave, you created an award-winning sauce. Is that key to great barbecue, or is it in the deliciousness of the meat?
Are you trying to get me to spill the beans on the secret sauce?
No, I won't.
I'm very open. I'll tell you right now. You want to know the secret?
Yeah.
I put a lot of love and kisses in my barbecue sauce. I think the truth being is that we smoke our barbecue, and we use the freshest seasonings to make our rib rubs and our sauces. And I spent years and years, 20 years, working on these recipes. And I think the proof is in the pudding, because there is no other barbecue restaurant in America that you can find our seasoning or sauces in almost every grocery store. But I think that's a testament to the award-winning quality of Famous Dave's.
The brand has 107 locations in 30 states, 3 countries. Was the dream, Dave, always to begin franchising, or was it just to get the doors open of the first restaurant and then everything just kind of blossomed from there?
You know, it was a dream come true when we opened up the first Famous Dave's, and people were driving hundreds of miles to come eat my barbecue. And literally, guys and gals would come and grab me, and they'd say, Anderson, you got to put one of these places in my town. And so the next place we went to was Minneapolis, an abandoned gas station. And within the next month, we had lines around the block. And, you know, it's like they say, the rest is history. Famous Dave's is really America's barbecue. We love being the best of the best. You know, if you come to Famous Dave's, you're going to taste some of the best slow-smoked juicy ribs, our honey-buttered cornbread, our country roasted chicken, our brisket. People, you know, you better wear your best stretchy pants when you come to Famous Dave's.
Well, you're going to be one of the judges of the All-Star Barbecue Series competition. You're going to be eating a lot of barbecue.
Yeah, and I look forward. You know, I love seeing what our local pitmasters can, you know, what their secret potions are, their secret recipes. But not only that, we have one of America's best-known celebrity barbecue guys, and that's Harry Sue, who was on TV on Barbecue Pitmasters, and he was a legendary pitmaster himself, and he's coming on out. I mean, so folks, if you want to have a really great time, taste some great tasting barbecue, watch these pitmasters strut their stuff. You're going to have a great time. We have free samples. They get to watch, and maybe they can get one of the pitmasters to spill the beans on their secret recipes. But everybody's going to have a great time at Famous Dave's in Indianapolis, the World Food Championships, watching the best pitmasters in town.
Okay, Dave, before we let you go, pro tip for backyard pitmasters.
Well, I think it all starts with loving what you do, patience, using the best ingredients, and just, like I said, put plenty of love and kisses into your barbecue, and people will come and they'll drive hundreds of miles just to see what you've done.
To learn more about the Famous Dave's All-Star Barbecue Series and the World Food Championships, you can follow them on social media or visit famousdaves.com/All-Star BBQ Series. And to participate in the competition as a competitor or a partner, you can contact info@worldfoodchampionships.com. Dave Anderson, it is such a pleasure to meet you. Hall of Fame pitmaster and founder of Famous Dave's. We're looking forward to seeing you at the Famous Dave's in Indy, May 3rd for the competition. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, and everybody, may you always be surrounded by good friends and great tasting barbecue, and we love you all.
12:43. Thank you, Dave. He's really cool, and my mouth is watering. I can smell barbecue. It's not here, but just talking to him, I can smell the barbecue.
We're excited for it. Hey,
Food news coming up.
Heck yeah, and I have the place to be to watch the Pacers tonight.
Ooh,
with some
that's a good
specials
one
for you.
All right, that's next. 93 WIBC.
Executive orders are flying.
Institute.
The good times hopefully continue for the Pacers tonight. Welcome back to the first day.
9:30 start, by the way, if you haven't already, you know that. 9:30.
They're taking on the Bucks for Game 4 of the playoffs. You can watch it on TV, FanDuel Sports Network, Indiana TNT Max, or run radio on our sister station, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Great Mark Boyle.
Oh, wonderful Mark Boyle. Or you can go and watch it in an environment that's arguably more fun than your home. Let's get into it during...
Here we go. She was
what
so
an
ready.
Intro. Did you see how she sneaked that in there?
She's so good.
You can go to participating restaurants of the Corona Bar Network. Official bars of the Pacers, they'll have specials on their Coronas. There are locations all over central Indiana, from Fishers to Indy and Greenwood. Or you can go to the official watch party tonight in Southport at Whiskey Business. And now when I...
Whoa.
Whiskey Business.
Do you have a wisp?
No, whisk.
You know what I first thought of? Whiskey Business.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, that was over 50 years ago. It was a long time ago. Sliding in his socks and his BVDs, man.
Whiskey Business. And we have owner of Whiskey Business here with us, Michael Doran. Michael, thanks for joining us on your Sunday.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you shining a light on our establishment.
We're so excited to be there. Tell us a little bit about what is going to be happening tonight for this official watch party.
Well, we're going to welcome in the Pacemates and representatives of the Pacers organization, along with Corona, and we're going to try to root on the Pacers to a victory tonight.
Whoop, whoop. What time do you think everybody should be there? You want us there in an hour? When would you like us to come, Mike?
Yeah, we need some time to pregame for sure.
Oh, the game starts at 9:30 p.m. You can pregame a lot.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
They got plenty. You got plenty on tap and everything. Everybody's ready to go, I'm sure. But
That's right. We have $4 Coronas tonight, so come on out and have a good time.
Well, what about your whiskey? Is your whiskey in barrels, or are you pouring?
Well, oddly enough, we did get a Blanton's private barrel a while back, and I believe we still have some of that in stock. So, that came in a barrel, and we still have the barrel in the house, but it is dry now.
Oh, well, you've done your duty.
Yeah.
You know what? With this late start, 9:30, everybody's been complaining about it. Naturally, it's bedtime. Come on, but you guys are naturally open until 1 a.m.
That's right. Sunday through Wednesday, 1 a.m. Thursday through Saturday, 3 a.m.
Good Lord!
Hey, why don't we just call into work for everybody tomorrow? And we'll just
I think that sounds
party
good.
all night long.
I like you.
What can I eat? Is there something I can eat there?
Oh, we have a full menu. So, what's your flavor? What protein do you like?
I like it all. You know what? All of it.
She will eat you out of house and home and restaurant, son. Be careful.
We've got her ready. Hey, come out and try our Carlito's Way wings, which is our char-grilled bone-in wings.
Oh, that sounds good. Okay, I'll have some of those, please, and a burger.
I've even seen.
And make sure to try our house-made blue cheese with that. You can't go wrong.
Does that mean Carlitos are hot? Has Carlito got some spice to it?
It's a kind of a sweet and savory with a little tiny spice, but even people that aren't big on spicy wings, they can handle it.
Yeah, Mike, where are you from?
Well, originally I was born in Liverpool, England, but grew up in Indianapolis.
So you grew up a Pacer fan?
Absolutely. Was leaving high school about 15 and riding downtown with my friends, getting $5 tickets to get in and go watch them. So
yeah. I like that story.
Back in the early 80s.
Back in the 80s. Was that Market Square? Were we going to Market Square in the 80s?
That was. My favorite Pacer at the time was Chuck Person.
Oh, my gosh. The Rifleman. Wasn't he the Rifleman?
The Rifleman.
That's right.
The Rifleman. Yes, sir.
Kielynn, you moved here, you grew up here, and then you decided to open Whiskey Business with the help of some friends. Tell us about the start of Whiskey Business, what people are going to be experiencing tonight.
Well, when I was younger and a little more dangerous and brazen, I guess, I thought it would be cool to have a bar. And that was 16 years ago. I was in my early 30s and just always grew up socializing and grew up around my family, always, having parties and just socializing and that type of stuff, and just thought it would be cool to keep on socializing. And here I am 16 years later and with 2 locations.
I'm a fan of yours because you like Chuck Person. Listen, here's my story. I was taking the family down to Florida, and I drive through this little bitty town in Florida, and it says, home of Chuck Person. Brantley, there it was. And I couldn't believe I seen Chuck Person's name, and I was 8,000 miles from home.
Just happened to me about 3 weeks ago on spring break. We're driving through, and I told my wife, I said, you know what? I always like Googling little towns when I'm in it, just seeing. Happened to be in Brantley when I Googled it, forgot Chuck Person was from there, and I'm like, no kidding. Chuck Person's from here right now.
That's exactly right. Did you see the sign by his high school?
I did not.
Oh, my God.
I passed the high school, and that's about when I Googled it. And
Michael,
I was.
Are we crazy or what?
I think it's cool.
Yes,
a couple
we
of
are.
Hoosiers
No,
for sure.
everybody has their favorites
Yeah.
that they never forget, but did you ever have a chance really to meet him at all?
I never met Chuck. I met Clark Kellogg back when I was younger. He came to church one day, and I always remembered him from that, so I've always been appreciative of him.
That's cool.
But never got a chance to meet Chuck Person. He was always my favorite. Back when he was going against Larry Bird, and they were back and forth, and the Pacers were trying to crack that first-round win, and they were really on the rise, and some great games. I can vividly remember being in Market Square Arena for a playoff game, and Chuck Person brought them to a win. It was amazing.
Now, you guys are down on Southport Road. How many people can you handle down there?
Official capacity is 256.
Okay.
So,
all right.
We're going to be filling it to the brim.
So at least double that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
What? You didn't say it. I said it. Okay.
Prank caller.
I know. It wasn't him.
For all of you that are in this kind of business, we know you were really challenged during COVID. And then moving forward, we just have a couple minutes here, but moving forward, anything tariff-wise, we've talked to those in the business of alcohol and talk about makes you a little nervous when you hear the words tariffs. Anything for you? Any challenges you see going forward?
I met with a rep a few weeks back about some other things, and a little bit of that came up, just certain things that are made in China, gloves and different products like that could be going up. And I heard a place that services a lot of the big name corporate stores, coffee houses and things like that. They've got 135% tariff coming on a lot of their products because that's where they get them from. But, some of these companies are starting to move, to other countries like Indonesia and stuff like that to avoid that. So hopefully we don't see that kind of raise.
No, listen, until then, I want to support you. We all want to support you, and we can't think of a better place to go and watch a game than Whiskey Business down in the South Side. And you can go right now and start pregame. It's open, ready to go.
5220 on Southport Road.
Yeah.
Closes 3 a.m. Man, you're a strong man.
No, is it 1? 3.
1
a.m.
1 a.m. tonight, but if we're having a good time, hey, who knows what happens?
You're amazing,
Michael
brother.
Doran, owner and founder of Whiskey Business. 2 locations. The one you'll be at tonight is in Southport. It's if you go past Target on Southport Road, it's over by the Aldi. Yep. And then
right behind the Chick-fil-A.
Perfect. Where's your second location?
We are on the northeast side out in Oak Landing, just next door to Family Leisure.
And Chick-fil-A's closed on Sunday, so that parking lot's open, folks.
Michael, we
That's
appreciate
right.
you.
Hey, Michael, thank you
Good
so
luck,
much.
brother.
Good luck, Pacers. Go Pacers. And go on out there and support those guys out at Whiskey Business. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching us on YouTube. Denny, you're the best. Thank you, my friend Kielynn.
Yes, sir.
Awesome work today. And to all of our guests, too. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll talk to you next week right here on 93 WIBC. News is next.
Employee pricing. That's right. At Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, you can get employee pricing across a full lineup of your favorite trucks and SUVs. Their entire American inventory has been marked with employee pricing, so you pay what they pay on F-150s, on Super